Yes.
I think if we approve this motion, we are opening up this committee to a very large lawsuit from the town of Hopkinton because we are disenfranchising their voters, and I don't think we have any right to pass this motion. I will be voting against it, and I hope everybody else does as well.
Anyone else on the committee?
And Mr. Felkner has his hand up.
Mr. Felkner is not on the committee.
But we haven't determined that.
I asked if anyone else on the committee. I'm taking the advice of our solicitor that Mr. Felkner is not a legal member of this committee. That is the premise that I'm working under.
But isn't that the motion on the floor?
I am working under the premise that he is not on this committee, so I am not recognizing him as a member of this committee. What don't you understand about this?
Mr. Day, I'm trying to be fair here because we are not being fair to Mr. Felkner. He was elected by the people of Hopkinton.
The two positions. The two positions.
But I don't necessarily agree with what the lawyer said. You've taken that at face value. I have not. I have problems with the argument. I don't think it's going to stand up legally. I'm not a lawyer. I'll leave it up to admit
Mr.
it.
McQuaid.
Ms. Carney, I would completely disagree with you and expect that hope that this committee would follow the advice of our solicitor. I believe that you are absolutely right. We are opening ourselves up to a lawsuit because of Mr. Felkner. And it can go one of two ways. It can go, we let him stay on this committee knowing that potentially all of these votes could be subject to lawsuits and that we will have an administration that is unable to perform their duties because they are not sure of the legality of all of these votes. Or we could have a lawsuit from Mr. Felkner and the onus is on him to prove that he should be on this committee. I would much rather prefer that we have one lawsuit coming from Mr. Felkner to us because of Mr. Felkner's actions, rather than a whole host of lawsuits coming from us taking inappropriate actions based on allowing him to be here. So you're absolutely right that lawsuits will exist. However, it's how do we want to deal with this? Do we want to expose ourselves wide open, or do we want to try and narrow that exposure? I believe in narrowing the exposure is by removing him from the committee and moving forward that way.
George, you have something?
Yeah, I would move that we lay this
on
on
the floor, Mr. Chairman.
I move that we lay this on the table until the Tuesday, December 9th meeting, based on the fact that it's not on the current agenda. I'm not aware of any...
I'll second the motion to table.
...precedent in our rules of conduct or the Chariho Act that would allow us to...
Point of order, there's been a second.
I'm going to ask us solicitor to rule on the legality of...
The answer is that the Chariho, in order to have a meeting, the Chariho School Committee needs to convene, and the people who convene
Legally.
have to be members of the school committee. And the issue before is whether or not Mr. Felkner is a member of the committee. And with all due respect, when Mr. Felkner made the decision and made the choice, and it is Mr. Felkner's choice, not the choice of the voters of Hopkinton. It is Mr. Felkner who made the choice to raise his hand yesterday evening and take the oath of office as a Hopkinton councilman. That is his decision. It's America. It's his right. But when he did that, the office of member of the Chariho Regional School Committee fell vacant. If Mr. Felkner disagrees with my advice, the ruling of the chair, and whatever vote the school committee may choose to take, as Mr. McQuaid very properly and eloquently said, it is better to have one lawsuit than many lawsuits. Because frankly, every vote you take from now on out until this is resolved will be subject to question, both by the people who work for you and by anybody who is dissatisfied with that vote.
What section in the Chariho Act or the Rules of Conduct or the Administrative Procedure Act for the state of Rhode Island do you cite on making this recommendation and putting this on the agenda without even the courtesy of notifying Mr. Felkner?
Point of order, I believe that the question has already been addressed. But on top of that, we have a motion to table, which is generally non-debatable. I appreciate getting Attorney Hennius, but I think we need to vote on this motion to table.
All in favor of tabling this motion?
Hennius, or Anderson, sorry.
What about us? Can we speak? You always in the past...
Excuse me. This is not the town of Hopkinton. We speak, when we're recognized, we speak here. As Mr. McQuaid just pointed out, a motion to table is not debatable. I've had a little attitude here with the members of the committee. I'm not going to have a little attitude with the members of the audience as it pertains to the motion to table.
Is it legal if it's not on the agenda, though? Where is it on the agenda? Show me.
How many times does Mr. Anderson have to explain to you the
meeting's
legal
already-
position that we're putting ourselves into by allowing a questionable individual in the respect of two positions to sit here?
Everything else has to be on the
motion-
agenda. How is this different?
We're
Just
taking-
explain to me.
We're going to take a vote on the motion to table. All in favor of table? 1, 2, 3. Opposed? Andrew, myself, Holly, Bob, Andrew, Michelle, Terry?
I was late for this, so I missed the beginning of the conversation, so
You're abstaining?
I have a question if it's allowable.
We're voting right now.
I have to abstain.
Okay. 3, opposed to 2 of them. Table. Motion fails.
I would move Mr. Pulaski's motion.
All in favor of moving the question? Six. Opposed? 4. We're going to take a vote on the motion.
Is
Everybody
there further
understand?
discussion on the motion?
No.
I believe there is, because the motion hasn't been called. I just think we're violating
What-
Mr.
what- what-
Falconer's rights.
Point
We're
of
violating the
order. I
rights
believe
of
when
the
the motion has been moved, debate ends and we take a vote.
This is-
Right.
Violate the Open Meetings Act.
Mr. Anderson, would you disagree with anything that we're doing here up to this point?
The answer is no. With regard to the Open Meetings Act, you have advertised that you are having a meeting of the Chariho Regional School.
Come over here and show me where it's on our
Get out of
agenda.
order.
Show me. You're so smart, Mr. Pawtucket lawyer.
Mr. Adams.
That's very rude,
respectful.
George.
Would you be respectful?
Very, very.
Show me.
I'm surprised at you,
This is a
Judge.
meeting of the Chariho Regional School Committee, and in order to participate as a
He's sitting
member,
illegally.
participate in the meeting as a member, you have to be a member. And the issue is whether or not somebody in this room is a member.
So you just got to prove it, and then you can sit next one.
We're all set now? All in favor? You want the motion read back?
Yes, please.
Andrew Pulaski.
Motion that Mr. Felkner be disqualified from participating in the school committee.
Louder, please.
A motion is made for Mr. Felkner to be disqualified from participating in school committee meetings from this day forward until told that otherwise that there is no legal conflict and he has a ruling in his favor.
Say the end there.
That the ruling is in his favor.
You're going to be disqualified from sitting with this committee until we have a legal opinion that says otherwise, basically.
I mentioned the Board of Elections or a court, and I think that phrase is important.
Okay.
I didn't
Board of
hear it.
Elections or a court.
Until ruling by the board.
They're the only two bodies